Hey guys, Steve here, Wilderness 333. I'm betting the wind is pretty bad at the moment, but I wanted to record this because I'm losing light very quickly. But this is a tarp setup, and this is going to be my first night. I am trying to spend the night in the tarp, so I'm going to show you what I'm doing real quick, and we will go from there. Okay, so I don't know which part of this will be more exciting or will work or not work, but I've got my Eno hammock, and what I've done, there are a lot of these online, but I've got one of these Costco down quilts, and I'm going to be using that as an under quilt to my hammock. What I've done is I've got tarp clips attached to it on both sides, runs up to some taut line hitches so I can adjust up and down, and I have that on all four sides. And then I have my tarp, of course, laid out here. It looks pretty cool. And then I will also be using a pad inside there to keep me warm. Here's the deal. The weather is not cooperating like I thought, and it is supposed to get into the very low, like teens, like maybe 19, 17 tonight, so it's going to be really cold. I don't know if what I've developed is going to be able to handle it. I've been out in it before, but I've never spent the night, and it's done all right. But as you can see, we're not sealed up real tight here on this under quilt. It doesn't come up and seal like many of them do here, so I'm going to try it anyway. Full disclosure, I'm at the cabin, so if it all goes bad, I can bail. So let's see how it works. Okay, I am here, and I am pleased to report that I spent the whole night in the hammock, and it went really, really well. I've spent lots of time in my hammock. I've set it up lots of times, but I'd never spent the whole night, tried to sleep a whole night, taken lots of naps. But spending the whole night in the cold is a different thing, and I stayed really warm. I think it got down to 22, 23 degrees last night, and I really was fine. It was a combination. I was dressed really warm. I had down on, I had wool, I had multiple layers, so I was dressed warm. I had that Costco underquilt that I had made, and I had a pad in there and my sleeping bag. So between all those things, I stayed really warm, and I think it went really well. So I'm gonna deem it a success. It was really fun. I got a good 6 hours of sleep, and I knew I was gonna trip on that, but it went well. I'll show you a little bit in here like I did yesterday. Obviously, as I got in this, I would sink down so that the underquilt came more up to where I was, but inside I had one of these Thermarest pads. I had a Marmot 15-degree bag, and then of course out here is that underquilt, and I do think it worked really well. Anytime that I was on the pad, I was plenty warm. So when my body was on the pad, it was good. When I got off the pad, I would feel some cold. Whatever body part was off the pad would feel some cold. But you've probably been in a hammock before, and you know that when whatever body part is hitting the edge, you just lose so much heat so fast. And I didn't find that being an issue. It was cold, but because of the underquilt, it wasn't too distracting. I was trying to pay close attention to the system, but it wasn't too distracting, and it didn't keep me up. So the underquilt worked. One of the big problems I had is my suspension system for hooking up this underquilt. I've got a tarp clip hooked on to this, and then I've got a taut line hitch so that I can loosen this and tighten it. And almost no matter what I did, it's still pretty tight, and when I got into the hammock, it would tend to put pressure on here and this would rip out. So that did happen a couple times over the night, and it was okay. It would be better if I was using shot cord. A lot of people use shot cord for this exact same thing, and that would be better. I was trying to avoid sewing, but I was trying to come up with a way to stay warm in more winter temperatures with just this, well, without having to go out and spend a ton of money. So the Costco quilt's 20 bucks, and everything else I already had for the camping and bushcraft that I already do. I was really comfortable. I know I've spent many nights on the ground. No matter how good of a pad I have, I'm a side sleeper, and I wake up and my hips hurt. So that wasn't an issue at all. I was good. I was comfortable. It was really nice. As far as how I laid, I started with a diagonal lay, kind of coming with my head over there and sort of the pad this way. But what kept happening is the pad would pop out, and I would get off it more easily, and it was just kind of weird. And since I'm a side sleeper, I don't know if that diagonal lay was helping me as much. So as the night went on, I switched it, I put it in the middle, and I slept fine that way as well. So it was a great first night. You know, they say in hammock camping it takes a few nights to kind of figure it out, and I'm sure it's true, but my first night went way better than I thought it would. I was warm enough, I was comfortable, I actually slept, so it was great. The tarp worked well. It didn't rain or anything, but I know it kept some wind down. I had to get a little creative in the ways I attached it, but first night is good. The Costco underquilt worked well, and when if you're dressed right, you have the pad, I think you're really good to go, and that'll save you from spending, I mean, some of these nice hammock setups would be nicer, would be easier to set up, maybe keep you a little warmer, but like $500. And I've got the hammock, you know, just a typical Eno hammock and underquilt. I'm saving a ton of money. So if you're trying to figure out hammock camping, this is one of your first times. You know, the big things you want to watch out for is losing. If you're just on that hammock on the bottom, you're going to lose all of your heat straight out. But using like an underquilt, something underneath you, a pad, is all really good to go. So I'm excited. I'm going to do it more. It was a success. I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again soon.